Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bando Moi Sabadana Matu Jahara Prasad Bhai Ei Baba Tori Yaja Krishna Prapti Ho Jai Jai Sadhu Tribhuvananatha Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva 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 Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nithai Goda Haribo 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 Nithai Go Haribo Nithai Goda Haribo 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 Go Haribo
एक दिन पहले जगन निवास प्रभु गए थे हमारे पास।
महाराज मधुसूदन विष्णु को अंग्रेजी में
हाँ तो ठीक है, अच्छा होगा। अब हमको यहाँ आने के लिए आमंत्रित किए।
One day ago, Jagannivas Prabhu approached me and invited me to come to this program.
और हमको क्या बोलना है यह भी बतलाए।
And he also spoke to me about the topic on which I have to say.
जो चीज़ है हमको बोलने को कहे तो मैं तो मना कर दिया कि हमको ज्ञान ही नहीं है।
And the topic he gave me, I refused to him by saying I can't speak on this topic. I don't have any knowledge on this topic.
हमको ये कह रहे थे कि संन्यास तत्व के विषय में बोलिएगा।
He was asking me to speak on sannyas tattva.
हमको कुछ ज्ञान है नहीं।
I have no knowledge on this topic.
मैं मना कर दिया।
So I refused.
लेकिन बाद में विचार किया कि जो जानकारी है उसको बोल देना चाहिए।
But then later I thought that whatever I know on this topic, I should speak.
आप लोग संन्यास शब्द से परिचित हैं।
You all are familiar with the word sannyasa.
इसका कई एक खंड हो सकता है।
We can divide this word in many ways.
लेकिन दो भाग में इसको बांटे।
But if you split it into two parts,
संन्यास,
samnyas,
दो शब्द है।
there are two words.
सम का अर्थ होता है सम्यक, भली भांति।
Sam means samyak, completely.
और दूसरा शब्द है न्यास।
And the other word is nyasa.
न्यास के अनेक अर्थ हैं।
Nyasa has many meanings.
मुख्य रूप से न्यास को त्याग के अर्थ में प्रयुक्त किया जाता है।
The primary meaning for the word nyasa is tyag, which is renunciation or sacrifice.
त्याग मतलब छोड़ना।
Tyag means to give up.
और संन्यास छोड़ने के अर्थ में है।
So sannyas means to give up.
संसार का त्याग करते हैं तो संन्यास ग्रहण करते हैं।
To give up material existence and accept sannyas.
लेकिन संन्यास का जो न्यास शब्द है तो दूसरे अर्थ में भी प्रयुक्त होता है।
But in this word sannyas, the word nyas can also have other meanings.
न्यास मतलब रखना।
Nyas means to keep.
खूब अच्छा से उसको रखना है तो कीप प्रॉपरली, इन प्रॉपर वे।
To keep it properly.
और हम अपने जीवन को सही स्थान पर नियुक्त करते हैं, रखते हैं तो उसको संन्यास कहा जाएगा।
When we keep our life in the most appropriate place or engage in the most appropriate place.
न्यास रखने के अर्थ में प्रचलन में है।
So this is quite famous.
और कई एक जगह न्यास धरोहर के अर्थ में प्रयुक्त होता है। रखा गया सुरक्षित और उसको न्यास कहते हैं।
So in many places it means that it has been kept in your protection. So it's called nyasa.
दोनों अर्थ है संन्यास शब्द में सन्निहित है।
So both these meanings are included in the name or in the word sannyasa.
संसार के दृष्टि से विचार करें तो संन्यास पूरा पूरा त्याग के अर्थ में आता है।
If you look from the perspective of material life, then sannyas means to completely give up.
यानी यहाँ तक इसका अर्थ ग्रहण किया जाता है कि इसको सामाजिक मृत्यु, सोशल डेथ ही करार दिया जाता है।
To some extent, even the meaning taken is that sannyas means social death.
यह एक महत्वपूर्ण पक्ष है।
And this is a very important approach or consideration for it.
बट लेकिन इससे भी महत्वपूर्ण पक्ष है संन्यास का अर्थ ठीक ढंग से न्यास करना, रखने के अर्थ में जो प्रयोग है वह।
But the more important meaning of the word sannyas is when you say nyas means to completely protect something.
हम अपने जीवन को कृष्ण के चरणों में रखते हैं, कृष्ण की सेवा में रखते हैं, वास्तव में यही संन्यास है।
So when we keep our life at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, or when we place our life in the service of Lord Krishna, so this is the most correct meaning of word sannyas.
भगवान गीता में संन्यास को परिभाषित कर रहे हैं, काम्यानाम कर्मणाम न्यासम संन्यासम कवयो विदु।
Lord Krishna is defining the word sannyas in Bhagavad Gita.
जो कवि हैं, सूक्ष्मदर्शी हैं, वो काम्य कर्म का त्याग को संन्यास कहते हैं।
The learned people or those who are philosophers, they say that to give up kamya karma is sannyas.
सभी कर्मों का त्याग संन्यास नहीं है।
Sannyas doesn't mean to give up all kinds of duties.
क्योंकि संन्यास के लिए दूसरे शब्द भी प्रचलन में हैं।
There are many other words which are also commonly taken in the place of the word sannyas.
आप एकादश स्कंध में पढ़ते नवा भवन ह्यर्थ सन्निस श्रमणा बात रस। सन्यासी के लिए श्रमण शब्द का प्रयोग किया जाता है।
In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the word
श्रमण
Shrama is used for sannyasi.
श्रम प्रचलित शब्द है
Shrama is a commonly used word.
और सन्यास के लिए यति शब्द का भी प्रयोग किया जाता है।
And sannyas is also sometimes referred to as yati.
अब एक प्रश्न होगा कि विभिन्न शब्द क्यों प्रयुक्त किए जाते हैं।
So a question arises, why different words are used for this particular term?
देखिए, कोई पिक्चर आपको रिले करना भेजते हैं, टेलीकास्ट करते हैं, तो कैमरा को कभी इधर डालते हैं, कभी उधर डालते हैं, ऐसा होता है ना।
When you want to broadcast or telecast a particular picture, then you keep the camera at different angles and different positions.
तो संन्यास के विभिन्न पक्ष को प्रदर्शित करने के लिए, उसको उजागर करने के लिए, हाईलाइट करने के लिए विभिन्न शब्द का प्रयोग किया जाता है।
So to highlight the different aspects of sannyas, different words are used.
से प्रचलित शब्द है 4 आश्रम।
The commonly used terms are 4 ashrams.
तो आश्रम का अर्थ ही है खूब अच्छा से परिश्रम करना।
Ashram means to endeavor very nicely.
तो सबके लिए ये सामान्य रूप से प्रयुक्त होता है आश्रम।
So this applies commonly to everyone, the word ashram.
लेकिन फिर सन्यासी के लिए यह जो चतुर्थ आश्रम है और उसके लिए श्रमण शब्द का प्रयोग करते हैं।
But for the sannyasi, which is the 4th ashrama, the word shrama is used.
वह शब्द गृहस्थ के लिए प्रयुक्त नहीं होगा।
But that word is not used for a grihastha.
और यद्यपि आश्रम की व्यवस्था ही ऐसी है कि सबको अपने आत्मा के उत्थान के लिए परिश्रम करना है।
But all the ashrams are arranged in such a way that every individual has to work for the upliftment of the soul.
बट सन्यासी का विशेष रूप से
This
यह
is the most prime duty.
एक तरह से कहा जाए तो सन्यासी का एकमात्र कर्तव्य यही है।
In other words, this is the only duty of a sannyasi.
और सन्यासी की जिम्मेवारी हो जाती है कि अपना भी उत्थान करे और दूसरे का भी उत्थान करे।
And this becomes the responsibility of a sannyasi to uplift oneself and also help others in the process of upliftment.
बहुत दृष्टि से ब्रह्मचारी और सन्यासी के जीवन शैली में बहुत अंतर नहीं है।
In many ways, in the life of a sannyasi and a brahmachari, there is not much difference.
एक बार कोई प्रश्न किया,
Once someone asked a question,
ब्रह्मचारी और सन्यासी में अंतर क्या है?
what is the difference between a brahmachari and a sannyasi?
और महाराज का शब्द है कि जो स्टूडेंट और टीचर में अंतर है वो ब्रह्मचारी और सन्यासी में अंतर है।
So Maharaj, he himself replied in this way that whatever is the difference between a student and a teacher, that's the difference between a brahmachari and a sannyasi.
और सन्यासी का एकमात्र कर्तव्य है अपने आत्मा के उत्थान के लिए परिश्रम करना।
So this is the prime duty and only duty of a sannyasi, to work or endeavor for the benefit of the soul.
और वह सदैव यत्नशील होता है, यत्न में लगा रहता है, इसी से उसको यति कहते हैं।
And because that person is always endeavoring for one's benefit, he is also called yati.
तो अपने को वह ठीक स्थान पर ठीक ढंग से रखा है और इसलिए उसको सन्यासी कहा जाता है।
And because he is keeping himself in the right place, in the right manner, he is also called a sannyasi.
और ठीक से रखने का कुछ व्यवहारिक पक्ष है।
And to keep it in the proper way, there is a practical consideration.
अपने इंद्रियों को पूर्ण रूप से वह भगवान के सेवन में विनियोग करेगा, लगाएगा।
It means that he will engage his senses completely and properly in the service of the Supreme Lord.
और कुछ निषेध पक्ष भी है।
And there are some provisions.
निषेध पक्ष में सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है कि किसी प्रकार के हिंसा से उसको बचना है।
And in prohibitions, the most important is that he should keep away from any kind of violence, hinsa.
किसी का शरीर से, मन से, वचन से किसी प्रकार से हिंसा नहीं होनी चाहिए।
There should not be any violence through one's body, through one's mind, or through one's speech.
यह पक्ष बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। अहिंसा का पक्ष बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है सन्यासी जीवन के लिए।
So for the life of a sannyasi, this consideration of ahimsa, the quality of non-violence, is very important.
इसी को हमेशा ध्यान में रखने के लिए सन्यासी त्रिदंड धारण करता है।
And to keep this always in one's own mind, a sannyasi carries a tridanda.
त्रिदंड का और भी महत्व है।
Tridanda has other importance as well.
लेकिन सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है कि उसको हिंसा से बचना है।
But the most important is he should keep away from violence.
अपने इंद्रियों पर नियंत्रण रखना है।
Should control one's senses.
और इसी से वो त्रिदंड धारण करता है।
And that's how he carries the tridanda.
त्रिदंड, तीन को दमित करना, तीन को दंड देना।
Tridanda means, three means three. So to subdue three things.
और सन्यासी अपने शरीर, मन और वचन को नियंत्रित रखता है, दमित रखता है।
So sannyasi subdues one's mind, words and the body.
वास्तव में शरीर, वचन और मन के नियंत्रण से व्यक्ति सन्यासी होता है, त्रिदंड से सन्यासी नहीं होता।
So actually a sannyasi is someone who has subdued the mind, the body and the words, not someone who is just carrying the tridanda.
और सन्यासी के लिए यति शब्द का प्रयोग किया जाता है।
For the sannyasi, the word yati is also used.
यति का अर्थ है कि वह कृष्ण के अनुशीलन में सदैव यत्नशील रहता है।
Yati means that in the process of cultivating Krishna consciousness, he is always endeavoring.
और इस दृष्टि से विचार करने पर हम देखते हैं कि परम पूज्य भक्ति धीर दामोदर महाराज शब्द के वास्तविक पात्र हैं। वे उनका व्यवहार यति शब्द के अनुरूप है।
And from this perspective, if you look at His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami Maharaj, then he is a worthy bearer of the name Yati.
महाराज से अनेक लोग बहुत घनिष्ठ रूप से संबंधित हैं, इनके व्यक्तित्व का परिचय उनको है।
Those who are intimately connected with Maharaj, they know about this aspect of his personality.
थोड़ा थोड़ा हमारा भी संबंध है।
I also have some little relationship.
एंड यहाँ तक हम महाराज का अवलोकन किए हैं, उनको देखे हैं,
And so far, what I have observed Maharaj,
हमको उनके व्यक्तित्व का कुछ कुछ चीज बहुत प्रभावित करता है।
so from his personality, certain things have influenced me a lot.
जैसे मैं कहा कि यति, यत्नशील या श्रमणा, परिश्रम, और इस दृष्टि से महाराज वास्तविक अर्थ में यति हैं।
Just like I said, if you look at the word yati, means one who is always endeavoring, cultivating Krishna consciousness. Maharaj deserves this word very well.
जो भी नज़दीक में हैं तो इनके दिनचर्या को देखते हैं,
Whoever closely serves him and observes his daily routine,
कितना जल्दी जग जाते हैं
he wakes up very early in the morning
और दिन भर कुछ न कुछ करते रहते हैं।
and whole day is busy doing something or else.
कभी कभी मैं देखता हूँ
Sometimes I observe
संध्या के समय उनका शरीर थक चुका है,
by evening he is quite physically tired,
लेकिन कई एक लोग आते हैं और फिर भी वे बैठे रहते हैं।
and many people come to see him and he is still sitting.
कुछ पूछते हैं तो उसको बतलाते हैं,
And if people ask or inquire, he replies.
और अपने मन को शास्त्र के अनुशीलन में लगाए हैं।
And keeps his mind always in the process of cultivating the teachings of the scriptures.
हमेशा शास्त्र के किसी न किसी विषय पर चिंतन करते रहते हैं।
He's always meditating on some or other topic of the scriptures.
सन्यासी का जीवन भ्रमणमय होता है।
The life of a sannyasi is to travel.
भ्रमण, ट्रेवलिंग, और ऐसा माना जाता है कि कोई विरक्त घूमता रहता है तो वह पवित्र रहता है।
It is said that if someone is a renunciate and he keeps on traveling, that he remains pure.
उदाहरण दिया जाता है, ये बहता पानी रमता जोगी।
Example is given of a flowing river. The water that flows remains pure. Similarly,
जो जिस पानी में धारा है, बह रहा है, तो उसको शुद्ध माना जाता है।
the water which has current or the flow is considered pure water.
और महाराज घूमते रहते हैं,
So Maharaj is also always traveling.
लेकिन सन्यासी को घूमने की व्यवस्था है, उनको निर्देश है कि सन्यासी को घूमना चाहिए, लेकिन हमेशा केवल घूमते ही नहीं रहना चाहिए।
Yes, it is true that a sannyasi is given the instruction to travel around, but it doesn't mean that a sannyasi should only travel around.
एक अनुपात निर्धारित किया गया है। 8 महीना सन्यासी घूमता है, 4 महीना एक जगह रहता है, इंटरनल कल्टीवेशन।
So a measurement is given that for 8 months a sannyasi should travel and for 4 months should stay in one place and do internal cultivation.
महाराज के जीवन पर विचार करें, इनका जो शेड्यूल्ड है उसमें मायापुर वृंदावन जरूर रहता है।
So if you see Maharaj's schedule, you will see, always notice that there is Vrindavan also always in it and Mayapur also always in it.
और महाराज धाम में आते हैं तो बड़े स्थिरता से रहते हैं,
And when he comes to Dham, he stays for a good amount of time steadily.
और धाम का सेवन करते हैं।
And he serves the Dham.
एक बार हम लोगों को कहीं जाना था, चैतन्य विहार से गिरिराज अपार्टमेंट से महाराज के साथ कहीं जाना था।
So one day we had to go somewhere from Giriraj apartment in Chaitanya Vihar.
और महाराज अपने रूम से निकले,
So Maharaj came out of his room
और चप्पल नहीं पहने।
He was not wearing the slippers.
तो हमको लगा कि महाराज भूल गए।
So I thought that Maharaj forgot to wear the slippers.
तो मैं चाह रहा था कि इनको मैं रिमाइंड कर दूं, बतला दूं।
So I was thinking of reminding him.
लेकिन सच्चाई यह है कि महाराज कहीं जाते हैं तो चप्पल पहनते ही नहीं।
But the truth is that when Maharaj is going for some parikrama or something, he doesn't wear the slippers.
जब इस तथ्य की जानकारी हुई तब महाराज के भीतर के भावना का मैं अनुमान कर लिया।
So when I came to know this fact, so then I understood his internal consciousness.
कोई लोग हैं कि बहुत चीज घोषित करते हैं, डिक्लेयर करते हैं।
Some people are there who have the nature to declare.
बट लेकिन कुछ लोग होते हैं कि अपने भावना को गुप्त रखते हैं।
But some people keep their mood very confidential.
बहुत भावनाएं हैं महाराज के जो प्रकट नहीं दिखता है।
So similarly, Maharaj has many such deep internal moods which he does not manifest externally.
लेकिन जो जानकार व्यक्ति हैं लक्षण से उसका कुछ अनुमान कर लेते हैं।
But those who are knowledgeable, they can understand that from the symptoms, those are visible.
महाराज का धाम के प्रति जो प्रेम है, शास्त्र के प्रति प्रेम है, भक्तों के प्रति लगाव है, ये सब पक्ष हमको बहुत प्रिय है, बहुत प्रेरणा दायक है।
So Maharaj's attachment to the Dham, Maharaj's attachment to the scriptures, Maharaj's attachment to the devotees, these are some of the aspects which are very dear and very inspiring for me.
महाराज के विषय में अनेक बातें हैं।
There are many things to say about Maharaj.
लेकिन बोलने वाले भी अनेक हैं।
But there are also many people to say.
समय का जैसा सीमा निर्धारित किया गया है और उसके अनुसार मैं अपने वाणी को यही विराम देता हूँ।
So considering the duration of time given, I'll complete my talk here.
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. This is a wonderful occasion by all means, because we are gathered to honor a Vaishnava. Not any kind of Vaishnava, but a Vaishnava of substance. My contact with Srila Bhakti Dhira Damodara Maharaj began unknowingly through his own spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Dhira Swami Maharaj, who used to visit us in South Africa. Having had his darshan, first visually he appeared around the corner at the university. Regal, happy, devotees were throwing flower petals as he walked. And his talk was that he had completed 34-country tour promoting his book, Spiritual Warrior. And when he spoke from that book, in my young mind, I could understand, wow, he is traveling around the world sharing truth. And I aspired as a young man, that would be wonderful to do. By his influence, I was able to join the ashram. 2005, I was fortunate to be in Mayapur, having done Bhakti Shastri there. And one day I chanced and met Maharaj in one of the prasadam halls. As brahmacharis, we generally study the sannyas list the candidate list. And after I had met him, he had mentioned he was Parikshit Prabhu. Of course, he didn't say that. And I got back to the ashram and I realized I'd seen a name there, Parikshit Das. And he mentioned that he was taking sannyas. And I was thinking, how is this young brahmachari taking sannyas? Because Maharaj, very handsome. because of his Krishna consciousness, it shows in his body, in his face. And it happened on that Gopurnima that again I met him, and he was on his way to the Gurukul to pick up his danda and cloth. And by the mercy of the Super Soul, I felt impelled and inspired to accompany him to go and do that and bring. We waited for that sannyas initiation, a proud moment, very inspirational moment, coming out of Africa, seeing another African devotee in Mayapur, welcomed by the International Society of Devotees, first African sannyasi, whom when I met, no false ego, just a simple, enthused, but you could pick up a deep personality. To glorify Maharaj, what can we say? He's a transformational preacher. I listen to his classes, you feel that you want to do something, you want to change something after that class. Maharaj also is a happy devotee. Kirtan is where you see Maharaj fully blossom into the happiest Vaishnava young man. He's not young in physicality, he's 67 maybe. But the spiritual spark in touch with Krishna is beyond the conditions of the body. And therefore, although there's so much stricture and rules and regulations again for sannyasis, renunciation, but Maharaj, we were fortunate that he became spiritual master. By being spiritual master, he became a father to so many of us. And because of that nature, he is enlivening so many of us, giving shelter to so many of us. And his example is that we have to catch up. I was saying to him the other day, I can't believe it's been 20 years. And I was thinking how much Maharaj has accomplished in this 20 years. I had lost touch with him after that initiation, being in Swaziland. That time there was hardly any internet to follow. But then I again heard about him from different devotees who happened to meet him when they come to Mayapur. And again, because of his impact of love, compassion, joy, conviction in Shastra, and transformative power, I was drawn again to his lotus feet. And to my great good fortune, Maharaj agreed to be my sannyas guru and mentor, and already he has saved me from big Maya. He knows how he has saved me, and I am fully confident how by his shelter, even a lowly wretch like myself may somehow or the other offer some service in Srila Prabhupada's movement. So we are very joyful, very happy to be here and to get the savor of hearing and sharing some words to try and glorify His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami Maharaj. Srila Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande.
Thank everyone for allowing me to be a part of this amazing festival today. I feel really privileged and I feel really honored to hear so much beautiful glorification on the qualities of His Maharaj Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami. I don't actually know him so well, but for me that doesn't matter. Like, we've heard so many rules and regulations of sannyas and strictness and austerities, and these kind of things are actually very frightening to me. I don't know, maybe because I'm in a woman's body, but You know, the word sannyas is something very awe-inspiring, and as a young devotee, when I learned it's only for men, women don't take sannyas, I was really relieved. Because, you know, the idea of not sleeping, not eating, cold bath, and, you know, sleeping on the floor, I'm thinking, oh, dear Lord, how would that be possible for me? I mean, we hear about the amazing renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And to me it was bewildering for a long, long time before I could get a better understanding. You know how, of course, we can understand how he was really eager to want to run, to be with Lord Chaitanya. And then when he was there in Jagannath Puri, first he took a little bit of Jagannath Prasadam, then he was begging at the Simha Dwar gate, then he would go to the charity booth, but then he was going where they're throwing the refuse, you know, that the prasadam that not even the cows would touch, right? And every time Raghunath Das Goswami's renunciation increased, Mahaprabhu became more and more pleased. And I couldn't comprehend it. I was thinking, how is it? He's giving pain to his body, he's not feeding his stomach, he's not sleeping. How can that be a pleasure? Why would Lord Chaitanya think that that is most pleasurable, you know, for his devotee, to see in his devotee? And I couldn't understand. And only in time I realized this is only possible because these exalted personalities, they must be at such an elevated stage of genuine love for the Supreme Lord, not just being free from the bodily concept of life. Even Mayavadis can do that. There's even great yogis who probably better renunciate. I had once the opportunity to go to Kiev, and there was a big old monastery there, Orthodox Christian church, and they took me in the catacombs, you know, the underground, like caves, cavern of this monastery, where in the past great monks, you know, like yogis, they voluntarily had themselves locked up in these dark rooms and no contact with the outside world whatsoever, and only one small slot in the wall, and I saw it. I actually got to see these small slots where sometimes some food was put to them. So I'm thinking, Are, is this what I have to do, you know, to get love for Krishna? And then, of course, we know the acharyas are singing the song, never mind what position, you're in the brahmachari position, grihastha position, vanaprastha position, sannyas position, just worship the Supreme Lord. So that is a great relief. So for me, to meet Maharaj is more the fact of affection, that despite everything, my lowly position, he's given me just immediately so much affection and friendship and acceptance. So for me, I can relate to that. I don't know about all these austerities and tapasyas and all of that, but what I can relate to is that he was very kind, immediately supportive, encouraging me, you know, as a disciple of Sri Srimad Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj. And that's what touched my heart. And in conclusion, it just developed in this way. What I can relate to with Maharaj, because I had that experience with my own Gurudev, this amazing, joyous, unlimited, oceanic laughing. For me, these are qualities that touch me. When I remember sitting in Maharaj Parikram at Prem Sarovar. He's sitting over there, I'm sitting here, and in between are all his disciples and followers, and he's speaking some pastime, and he's looking at me and he's laughing, and I'm looking at him and I'm laughing, and we're just laughing. And what I can understand, just with the help of my Gurudev and with the help something from Shastra, like in Nectar of Devotion, we hear that this laughter is a transcendental bhav. It comes like flowers rising from the heart and being a joyous expression of an exalted emotion to the Supreme Lord. And in that way, I can better relate to sannyas, in the sense that here is somebody who is experiencing, high levels of emotions of Krishna consciousness. And just by chance, I opened this book yesterday, and there's a quote, and I can better relate to sannyas in this way. There's a quote here from Ujjvala Nilamani speaking about Samatha Rati. It says, in Samatha love, the lover strives only to make Krishna happy. And it's speaking about the gopis, of course, in Vrindavan. The root cause of all their activities is Krishna's pleasure, nothing else. There's no thought of Atma Sukha, one's own pleasure. If they were to drown in either the ocean of happiness or the ocean of distress, or both, only the thought of Krishna's pleasure would be there. And it's a quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 4, text 174. Atma sukha dukkhe gopira narika vicha, Krishna sukha hetu chesta manovyavaha. The gopis do not care for their own pleasures or pains. All their physical and mental activities are directed toward offering enjoyment to Lord Krishna. The gopis never consider their own pleasure and happiness. They only think always of the pleasure and happiness of Krishna. Therefore, they act in that way. So I feel, with my own humble, itsy-witsy little bit of understanding, for somebody to be able to be a devotee of the Lord like Maharaj is only possible because a complete absorption of being 100% committed to doing everything physically and mentally only for the pleasure of the Lord, whatever that will take. So I'm grateful. I deeply express my gratitude to Maharaj for his kindness. And he's never asked me, anything other than, trying to do some service to the devotees. So we can do that. We can try to be kind and be affectionate and helpful to render service to the devotees. And hopefully with that service also, may Lord Krishna get a little bit of pleasure. So thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami Maharaj ki, His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Guru Param Param ki. Yes, I was just wondering, where will I start from? Because there's so much to say. I'm sitting down here, I'm a living testimony of Maharaja medicine and kripa as the world we go. But I want to emphasize on two basic important points. Before I emphasize on those points, I want to first of all appreciate the organizers of this program today. I think you are all, glories to all of you, to putting this wonderful program together. It's a great memory for me in particular. So I know Maharaj when I was undergraduate in philosophy. So from long decades of years ago. So from there I we begin our relationship. To these days, I'm still serving under Maharaja. So a lot of things have been said regarding to his practice, his staunch sadhana. But the two things I want to emphasize are this. The first one is this. I have, over the years, wandered here and there in Vrindavan. And oftentimes I see people, these fruit vendors, both in Vrindavan and somewhere else, when they display their fruits, they don't taste. They just wait for those who to come and patronize them. In Vrindavan here, we see that when the fruit vendor displays their fruit, they hold danda, they hold stick, to prevent the monkeys, for coming close. But we see a different case in the Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he displays his fruits, there was no danda. And he did not display his fruits just for the buyer. He first of all tastes the fruits. Then he dispenses it. Whether you are qualified or you are not qualified, he dispenses these fruits, which is the contrary scenario we see here and there. So Maharaj is on that caliber, following the teachings of His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and the Guru Parampara. He gives shelter, provided she wants to follow. So for decades of years, I have been serving under him. Most of you may not know. I'm still serving under him till today. So this is the first aspect I want to really touch. The ability to preserve the teachings of Paramparam without altering. As it is. Srila Prabhupada writes Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is what he gives. Most of his disciples here, I'll be very, optimistic to say this, that most of you are very fortunate because having Maharaj as your guru or Shishya guru, is worth it. So the second aspect which I want to emphasize, Maharaj has a great project. A similar one of that we have in Mumbai, Govardhan Eco Village. And I expect most of you are aware, especially maybe the disciples or a few of the followers. There is no way to please a Vaiṣṇava when you help a Vaiṣṇava with his duty. Most of the way to help, in this regard, there are various dimensions. If you are a disciple, you can assist with your own capability. If you are a follower, you can assist also with your own capability. But there is no point, there is no way to say, there is no one, it shouldn't be reasonable to say that I'm not capable or I don't have that means. We all have the means. And that is the reason we see in Bhagavad Gita there are different aspects everyone can take to approach the Absolute. So, someone, I believe, it will highlight more of this project. But just to give a synopsis, a kind of a hint on it, it's a very important project. Because in Shastra, there are two things. There is Striya and prayer. Prayer is the temporary, just we are here temporary, after some times, then we leave. But Striya is eternal. And what Maharaj have as his project is an eternal project. That any of you, when you happen to visit West Africa, Nigeria in particular, you can be able to take full shelter of the project that Maharaj has. Please, at the end of this festival, find out how you can contribute. This is my little emphasis for today. Maharaj, Happy Sannyasi anniversary. Srila Prabhupada ki.
The glories of Srila Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami are unlimited. And due to time constraint, I just drafted a few things here I'll say. And personally, I'm very grateful that in this lifetime, I've been able to come in contact with such a personality. Although I may say I'm a disciple of Srila Bhakti Dhira Swami, I may say so, but actually, my connection with my Guru Maharaj has come through Srila Bhakti Dhira Damodara Swami. He's very instrumental to me getting the initiation. In fact, the bead he handed over to me, the bead from Param Gurudeva, he gave to me on the day of my initiation. And my mother has unflinching faith in his words. Because there's a saying that familiarity breeds contempt. So because Maharaj has been given this physical body in the same geographical location with us, some of us tend to see him as an ordinary jiva. But still, there are a few of us that know that he is not one of us. Just like he will say that we did not accept Srila Gurudeva because he has the same skin with us. He always says so. That is not why I accepted him as my spiritual master. So there are some of us, and my mother is one of those people. My mother would tell me always that Maharaj is non-different from Srila Bhakti Dhira Swami. She has that unflinching faith. Now, it took me a while to realize that. It took a while. And so, even though I have known him from childhood, I would say that this last decade of my life, I have been able to come to understand more and more of his personality. Like he said in one of his classes, he said, in my astrological chart, I have two faces. So, when you see Maharaj, especially when you see him for the first time, and you are a very carnal person, like the Christians will say, you are a carnal person, you are very much on the surface, you will not see anything special about him. You might just see him as a sadhu, okay, a devotee, or just a sannyasi. You will not see. So it has both aspects. It has the mystical side, and then it has the physical side, as we just see. Oh, he does the same thing I'm doing. He ties the dhoti, he wears the tilak. He has the physical side. You will be making a very big mistake if you assess him based on your temporary physical vision. So time is very short, so I'll just read briefly. So one quality he has is a leadership style which is unique with him, but it is subtle. And that is that his presence, his classes, his attitude towards each angle of devotional service, it triggers some kind of self-assessment and sometimes guilt that you are lagging behind. He doesn't need to give you some personal instructions. If you listen to his class, if you attend his japa sessions, if you even see the way he attends to his deities, you will begin to pass some kind of judgment on yourself. You begin to judge yourself. It's a quality he has. If you don't have interest in observing Ekadashi, if he gives a class on Ekadashi, he won't tell you to fast on that Ekadashi. He's not asking you to fast. He's just going to give a class on Ekadashi generally. And at the end that day, you will resolve that you are going to observe that Ekadashi. So he has that spiritual potency that is going to make you do the positive things which normally you feel are not so necessary. I can manage without them. Something else is that we all need somebody who we look up to for inspiration in our devotional service. Somebody whose lifestyle assures us that if you follow in his footsteps, you will eventually become a pure devotee. One thing is to try to be a devotee, but fall short intermittently in between. That's happened to me sometimes. We all want to be steady in our devotional service. He will always say that to be a neophyte devotee is very dangerous. One should not be a neophyte devotee. It's a very dangerous thing. He always emphasizes it. But sometimes we intermittently, in between, today you are full current, and tomorrow you are half current, and tomorrow you are quarter, and like that. So it happens that sometimes we fall short intermittently in the process of devotional service. And another is that sometimes outrightly, some devotees might lose faith in the system and discard the idea of practicing at all. The latter often stems from want of somebody in our midst who has made tremendous advancement by applying his or herself to devotional service. So Maharaj is that person who reassures me that the exceptional mystical experiences and transformations that pure devotees witnessed in our Shastra are still available now. One day, I was in the altar with one of my godbrother, Anuradha Prabhu. He left the body now. Speaking of some of his qualities. So, Anuradha is very attracted to the Jagannath deity because in his temple in Ibadan, they had a big Jagannath deity. So whenever he comes from school, he wants to dress Jagannath deity. So that day, I think he dressed the deity, and Maharaj was giving Bhagavatam class, ISKCON Benin. And he was speaking about the quality of the pujari. And then he mentioned that if you are a pujari and you don't communicate with the deities, you should leave the altar. Now, Maharaj has a quality when he speaks something, I would not say he doesn't know, I would say that is the way he chooses to operate. He doesn't speak it in a way that, okay, you take it gradually, with time you will understand. He just gives it to you, hook, line, and sinker. It's like a bomb. So now Maharaj is a bit mellow now that he has gotten so much disciples, especially with Mataji's, he's a bit mellow. Like Mataji was saying about his nature, in his brahmachari days, it's a bomb. So that day he said, if you are a pujari and you are in the altar and you don't communicate with the deity, you should leave the altar. You are wasting your time. Now, that was a bomb for the pujaris. So somebody came to me, a senior devotee, his godbrother, very senior. And because I was confused. So I was asking, does it mean that all these things we are doing here is a waste? So, and then I was very young. We don't approach him easily. He was the regional secretary. You don't have any reason to approach him. You have to go. You go to your temple commander, your Sankirtan leader. So he's very far from us. So my chief pujari, I now went to him. I said, all this effort we are doing here. So I said, so it means we are just wasting our time. So he said, don't mind Maharaj. Maharaj is always like that. He's just very heavy. He said, don't allow that to disturb your devotional service. He said, Maharaj is just like that. Then another year he mentioned, sorry, I will take a bit of extra time because I'm discussing his activities with his devotees. So another time he said, he was he was referring to the Jagannath deity. And Anuradha Prabhu addressed the deity. So he asked, so you have dressed, he was saying generally, so you have dressed the deity, yes? He said yes. Did you ask Lord Jagannath if that is the cloth he wants to wear? So we broke into confusion. So I looked at my godbrother, and so I asked him, did you ask the Lord that this is the cloth he wants to wear? He felt very disturbed. He felt very, very disturbed. And so now, at that time, we felt that this thing that Maharaj is saying, these are not things that are achievable. These are not things that we can do now. But many years later, when I came to India, I saw that he gave a class in Chennai. He mentioned the same thing, the first safari. He mentioned the same thing. If you are a pujari and you don't communicate with the deities, you are wasting your time. Leave the altar. So then I asked him one day, personally, how does he communicate with it? And then he told me, he said, my deities, they talk like anything. They are always talking. And he tells me that sometimes I can take this jewelry and I want to put on the deity, and the deity will tell me that, no, I don't want this today. I'll prefer this other one. So that is why I said here that the things which we read from the scripture, which are mystical, which we think that these things cannot happen now, here is a living testimony that these things are still happening right now if you apply yourself to the system. There are a lot of things to say about him, but time constraint. I will say the last one or two more. One is about kirtan. Kirtan. I said that a pure devotee is daksha, is expert in everything. So one of the things he's expert at is kirtan. Most of you have seen him doing kirtan here at Navadip Mandal Parikram, but you need to see his kirtan in his brahmachari days. The kirtan we do in India, you just sit down, you play harmonium. This is relaxing kirtan. You are relaxing. It's like somebody who is used to running up the hill. You're telling the person, okay, now you run down from the hill. Oh, that's nothing. He goes on Harinam with one of my kirtan gurus. His name is Chandra. And he was leading the Harinam. They go on Harinam for many hours under the hot sun, scorching heat for many hours. And Prabhusachi, one of his godbrothers, would tell me that he will play Mridanga for 6 hours non-stop, and he plays only 2 styles. Some of us, we want to play many styles. He said, no, Maharaja will just take only 2. First one begins the kirtan, Kiki Neda 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 Day, Prabhupada. And the second one is Kahavata, the first one, Din Takita. And he said he will play for hours non-stop. And then we have some godbrothers who are very powerful dancers. They dance, in Africa we dance vigorously. We don't just sway. You have to have good health, physical energy to dance. And so we have our godbrothers like His Grace Suklambara Prabhu, His Grace Salika Prabhu, and so many others. And he will tell them, when we want to start the kirtan, he will say, you see this ground, you see all the stones here. We are going to break the ground. At the end of the kirtan, all the stones should be leveled. These are his words. We are going to break the ground. At the end of the kirtan, this place should be completely level, and they will dance for hours and hours. And sometimes in some Harinam, when I'm playing Mridanga and I'm tired, he looks at me and he will say, are you tired? This is just the beginning. We are just starting the kirtan now. So Maharaj, he is an ecstatic kirtan performer. Ecstatic. That is when you see him out of his body. And lastly, should I say? Like I said, Maharaj has unlimited qualities, and they are very numerous to mention. We will stop here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we'll pray, Maharaj, I pray on this occasion of your sannyasi anniversary that you help me to be able to develop genuine love for you and also for Gurudeva, and to have faith that this system that Prabhupada has given to us is sufficient for us to go back home, back to Godhead. Because I have said this, I remembered one more thing before we go. That this system that Prabhupada has given to us is sufficient to take us back home, back to Godhead. So he was sharing with me that one day he was going on, I think maybe some yatra or parikram with some senior devotee, maybe his contemporary, some devotee. And the devotee, will I say cunningly or trickishly, tried to lure him into another Vaiṣṇava Sangha. It's a Vaiṣṇava Sangha. And he did not know. So he got into the Sangha and he realized that, well, this is not where I want to be. And so after everything, he came out and he told him that you should not do this next time. As far as I'm concerned, Srila Prabhupada has given me everything that I require to perfect my life in this lifetime and come back to Godhead. I don't need any other assistance. This is the kind of unflinching faith he has in Prabhupada, his guru, and in the system. Hare Krishna.
We're speaking about Maharaj, that it's his 20th anniversary. of taking sannyas, and it's also the 20th Tirobhav for Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. And I just want to let everyone know, that I would like to try to organize it here in Vrindavan. They're having one in the U.S., a big international celebration, but I would like to have it here in Vrindavan. But I wanted to speak about Maharaj, and I had written so many things. I'm a note taker. I'm always taking notes. I have so many notes just to get my brain started. But one, I remember what I was thinking about first, that I wanted to speak about Gurudev, my Gurudev, because Bhakti Dhira Damodara Maharaj is following completely in his footsteps. You know, he was very well. I used to really observe my Guru Maharaj a lot. Even before I joined the movement, before I even took initiation, I would observe Gurudev's movements and his actions, because, you know, so many things happen in the material world, and after you've been out there so long, you don't want to be cheated, so you're a little bit cautious. So I took so much time, 3 or 4 years, to observe my Guru Maharaj and see, you know, his actions. And I got to understand after some time about his purity. So, and I observed that he was very kind to the children. He was very concerned about the Guru Kulis in ISKCON. He was concerned about the elderly, and he was concerned about the women. And a couple of things I'll say. One time we went to New Vrindavan, that's in the US and West Virginia, and Gurudev took us to Prabhupada's Golden Palace. They have a palace in that temple there in New Vrindavan. And he was putting us in front of Srila Prabhupada, and he was dancing back and forth. You know how Gurudev, Maharaj inherited Gurudev's dancing, because, you know, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj would dance so much that when he finished, everything was completely soaked. All his clothing was completely soaked, and he was always ecstatic. But as I was new. My mind wasn't there yet, and he was dancing back and forth with such vigor. But as I observed him, what I saw was, oh, he's introducing us to Srila Prabhupada. He's offering us to Srila Prabhupada, you know. So as I observed him, I finally surrendered, because it took me a long time to surrender to the process and to surrender to taking instructions. So now I want to talk about Bhakti Dhira Damodara Maharaj. So when he started coming here, well, when I knew him, the first trip I had to Vrindavan. In fact, first, someone donated for me to go to Vrindavan, and so I made all my plans. And then, but Gurudev called me into his office, his room, and he said, "So you're going to Vrindavan?" I said, "Yes, Gurudev." And he said, and he sounded really like hurt, because I hadn't thought of asking him. It didn't occur to me, even though I had taken initiation, which was, of course, that was my mood all the time, right? So he said, "Well, why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you ask me if you wanted to go to India?" You know, so he always had to help me understand that I am not independent, that I've taken initiation, and I need to speak with the Guru for anything that I wanted to do, which was hard for me at that time in my life. So the first trip I made was when I saw Maharaj, and his name was Pariksit at the time. But he was a brahmachari, so of course, you know, there was no talking, I just noticed him, that's all. You know, and I could see that he was very grave, very sober, and very strict. And Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was very, very strict as well in his life, very strict. And so much so that his godbrothers would complain to Srila Prabhupada, because they couldn't follow what he was doing. So they complained. And Gurudev felt bad because he didn't want to make his godbrothers feel bad. So he tried to tone down a bit, you know, because of his strictness, 42 rounds every day, not taking anything but carrots and nuts and little things like that. He was totally detached, you know. So when Maharaj, years later, when Maharaj came to Vrindavan, the first thing I thought was, oh, he's just like Gurudev. I felt encouraged. I said, this is the mood of my Guru Maharaj. So one thing I want to say is like when one of Bhakti Dhira Damodara's disciples asked me to go to Kenya to preach, to go to Nairobi. And she asked me twice. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But finally, I had gotten smart. So I went and spoke with Maharaj and said, your disciple wants me to go to Nairobi to preach. So he gave me, we call, in America, we say, he gave me the 411. It's like all the information you needed to know before you went there. So, and then after he gave me that, and he said, okay, then you should go. So based on his permission, I had finally gotten to the state where I asked for permission for things. So he said, okay, you can go. And it was really a wonderful preaching experience. And then later on, just recently, I decided to go to Mauritius. But at least I wrote to Maharaj and asked him about Mauritius, and he made really nice arrangements, and the preaching was very nice. So in his class yesterday, was it yesterday? You had class, right? You were speaking about following in the Goswami's footsteps. And I was thinking, I had heard a class from one devotee who said, we shouldn't think we can follow in the Goswami's footsteps. And I just kept that inside. But when he started talking about it, when Maharaj started talking about it, I wanted to ask him a question. Well, if this person says we shouldn't, and you're saying we should, and then what does that mean? And Maharaj's presence is very, very powerful, very potent. And as I was sitting there thinking about asking the question, what came to me was, it's okay if you think you can follow, because we can't even follow in his footsteps. What to speak of the rest of the acharyas, because I can't go on parikram with him. He walks too fast. All of the pure devotees, they're in Krishna's energy. We cannot really imitate. They're in Krishna's energy, so they have a different energy. And so many things are going through my mind, because then I was remembering when he first came to Vrindavan, I asked Maharaj, can I dress your deities? And then he said, okay. And so I dressed the deities, and then I asked Maharaj, well, what did the deities tell you? But he never told me. He never explained to me what they had said to me, because I'm sure they told him something. I don't know what they said. I never found out to this day. And then I remember the verse in the Bhagavad Gita, I think it's 2:51 through 55. And it's, how does he walk? How does he talk? So we know that verse, if you know the Gita. And when I had my Bhakti Sastri and I came across that verse, I couldn't figure out what that meant. It took me years before I said, what does that mean? How does he talk? How does he walk? He walks like everybody else. What does that mean, you know? But now I understand what it means. How does he walk? How does he talk? You know, not like us. He's in the spiritual world, here in the material world, but he's in the spiritual world already. He's in the spiritual world. So we So then I said, okay, because I had been saying, oh, I want to follow in my Guru Maharaj's footsteps. Back to that subject. And then I thought about what came to me when he was doing that class and he said that. What came to me from hearing the other person say, don't say that, was that we have to examine why are we doing it? Is it for our own aggrandizement? Is it for us to say, yes, I'm preaching here and I'm preaching there, or to be a big person? What is our motivation? And if we have the proper motivation and the proper reason and the proper sensitivity and wanting to actually deep down help the living entities, if that's our motivation, then it's okay to try to follow. But first we have to do a reflection about our own motivation, because this is what I learned also from Guru Maharaj, because whenever you went to ask a question or make a complaint, the first thing he would say is, do you have that? Don't point your finger at someone else and don't come to complain. You examine yourself and see, because whatever you think you see in someone else is in you. So you need to be reflective. So whatever things we do, even to the point of when you think you're close to Guru Maharaj or you know who he is, we don't know who he is, actually. We don't know. I never thought I knew Bhakti Dhira Maharaj. So I always was a little bit apart because I didn't want to get familiar, because so many devotees were close to Srila Prabhupada and they took him as an ordinary person, and we can't do that. They're not ordinary persons. So we have to, not think that, oh, I know my Guru Maharaj. Well, we'll never know, So when Guru Maharaj, when Bhakti Dhira Damodara comes here, I feel the presence of my Guru Maharaj, and I feel so enlivened and so encouraged, because that means to me that Guru Maharaj is keeping an eye on me, and he's still in my life and watching over me and encouraging me to be the best I can be and to offer what I can offer, regardless of what it is. So that's my offering for Bhakti Dhira Damodara, and I hope he just keeps coming and stay a little longer. It's always such a short time to stay a little longer. Thank you, Maharaj, so much.
Bilvamangala Thakur was a wise and knowledgeable Brahmana, dedicated to spiritual practices and a peaceful household life. However, Krishna had a divine plan for him. The Lord wished to bring his dear devotee back to the right path and show the world the strength of true determination in Krishna consciousness. His story begins with an intense and uncontrollable attachment to a beautiful courtesan named Chintamani. As their relationship grew, Bilvamangala's infatuation deepened. Lost in desire, he abandoned his spiritual duties and Brahmanical values. Even when his father passed away, he could not wait for the funeral rites to end. Overcome with longing, he rushed to see Chintamani, ignoring the raging storm and violent floods. No boatman was willing to risk the stormy waters, but Bilvamangala's obsession was unstoppable. Desperate, he found a floating corpse and used it to cross the river. Reaching Chintamani's house, he mistakenly grabbed a snake, thinking it was a rope, and used it to climb through her window. Soaked and trembling, he stood before her, consumed by desire. But instead of happiness, Chintamani was horrified by the extent of his madness. A wave of realization struck her, and a sudden detachment arose in her heart. It was as if Lord Krishna himself spoke through her when she uttered the words that would forever change Bilvamangal's life.
Chintamani, Chintamani.
Bilvamangala, you crossed the river on our carts? Just to see me?
Chintamani.
You lost your senses?
Chintamani, my heart is burning with longing for you. No storm, not even the fear of death could stop me or keep me away from you. Chintamani.
If you only have the same attachment for lotus feet Krishna, you can If you have the same attachment for Lotus Krishna, feet Lotus Krishna, you can
I could have attained Krishna. What did you say?
Yes, you would have attained Krishna.
I could have attained Krishna. I could have attained Krishna. I want to attain Krishna. I want Krishna. 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 Krishna.
If only you had the same attachment for Krishna's lotus feet instead of a woman, you would have attained Krishna. These words kept ringing in Bilvamangal's ears, bringing a strong transformation in his life. No longer was he yearning for material pleasures. His only goal was Krishna. Bilvamangal thus embarked on his most auspicious journey. Maddened by the deep desire to see Krishna, he toured to different places, crying out, "Krishna, Krishna." Day and night he chanted Krishna's holy name, wandering through the holy places and singing Krishna's glories in his ever melodious voice. Eventually, he decided to go to Sri Vrindavan Dham, the divine abode of the Lord. But on the way, Lord Krishna decided to test his resolve yet again.
Hey Dev, Hey Daita, Hey Bhuvane ka Bandhu, Hey Krishna, Hey Chapala. Hey Devi, can you give me some water?
Sure.
Chintamani, why are you running away from me? Chintamani.
Welcome, Brahman Dev. Please let me know how can I serve you. Please give me a chance to serve you, oh Brahman Dev.
No! I have swayed away again from my goal, yet again and again. I have been diverted from my goal, overcome by lust. Overcome by lust. This lust entered through these eyes. Oh, Mother, please forgive me. Can you please give 2 pins from your hair? Lust entered through these eyes. Let me pluck these eyes. If at all I have to see, I may only see Krishna, my beloved Krishna.
Oh my God! Oh Brahman Dev, why did you do that? Let me help you! Oh Brahman Dev, let me get you to the doctor for the treatment. Please come with me.
No.
Please.
Not needed. Not needed.
Please, Brahman Dev.
This is the best treatment for my eyes. Now, my eyes will never commit such sin. Oh Krishna. Now I will not stop until I reach Vrindavan. I vow to not take grains or water until my Lord Krishna personally offers me with his lotus hands. Krishna, 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 Krishna.
Days passed, and Bilvamangala didn't even accept a drop of water or a morsel of food. But the Lord cannot bear any suffering for his unalloyed pure devotee for so long.
Arvindam Mukharvinde Viniveshayantam Vatasya Patrasya Puteshayanam Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. He Krishna, He Yadav, He Sakheti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti.
Wow! Jaya! Nectar! Baba, you must be tired from the singing. Take some milk.
Oh, sweet child. Such a sweet voice. Oh, sweet child. Who are you? Why have you come to this forest?
I'm just a boy from Vrindavan, Baba. Why don't you take this milk? Do you know, Krishna used to drink this milk from the cows of Vrindavan. Didn't you want to taste that?
Krishna used to drink this?
Yes.
Krishna.
Drink it.
I've never tasted something like this my entire life. This is nectar. I drank nectar. I drank. Krishna, I drank. I took a vow. My vow is broken. Alas! Alas!
Don't worry, Baba. Krishna will never punish you.
Oh child, you seem to know so much about Krishna. You are a Vrajavasi. Please tell me more about Krishna, his form, his pastimes, his activities. Please.
Sure, Baba. He has a complexion like a dark rain cloud and eyes are like lotus petals. He steals the butter from the house of gopis and dances in the moonlight with his beloved girlfriends. His laughter is like a sound of tinkling bells, and wherever he goes, the fragrance of sandalwood and tulsi follows him. He plays flute that captivates hearts of all. All the gopis were very dear to him, but the most dear to me is my Radhika. She is my life.
Your beloved? I was attracted to you. I knew. Oh, Krishna. Oh, Krishna. I've got you. Goal of my life.
Of course.
My beloved.
Of course. I had to fulfill your vow.
Oh, Krishna. You can run away from my hands, but you will never be away from my heart. You can never be away from my heart. Hey, Daita, Hey Bhuvane Kabandhu, Hey Krishna, Hey Chapala, Hey Karune Ka Sindhu, Hey Nath, Hey Ramana, Hey Nayanabhiram, Kadanu Bhavitasi Padamdrishor me, Hey Dev, Hey Daitam, Hey Bhuvane Kabandhu, Hey Krishna, Hey Chapala, Hey Karune Ka Sindhu, Hey Nath, Hey Ramana, Hey Nayanabhiram, Kadanu Bhavitasi Padamdrishor me, Kadanu Bhavitasi Padamdrishor me.
Hey Daita, Hey Bhuvane Bandho, Hey Krishna, Hey Chapala, Hey Karunaika Sindhu, Hey Nath, Hey Ramana, Hey Nayanabhiram, Kadanu Bhavitasi Padamdrishor me.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So in this drama today, we had Srila Bilvamangala Thakur's role being played by Vivek Prabhuji. The character of Chintamani was played by Her Grace Jayada Gopika Mataji. The character of the merchant was played by His Grace Abhinandan Prabhu.
Haribo!
The character of the merchant's wife was played by Her Grace Achyuta Priya Mataji.
Haribol.
In Krishna's role, we had Vihan Prabhu.
Haribol.
As Srimati Radha Rani, we had Prisha Mataji.
Haribol.
And our narrator was Her Grace Preeti Manjari Mataji.
Haribol.
The sound was being taken care by Her Grace Shama Priya Mataji.
Haribol.
A big Haribol to the drama team. Let us thank them by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. We heartily thank everyone, devotees who have spoken, and devotees who have organized for this festival.
हम हृदय से सभी भक्तों का धन्यवाद देना चाहते हैं जिन्होंने यहाँ पर कुछ कहा और जिन्होंने इस प्रोग्राम की व्यवस्था की।
I was not thinking devotees should come and talk about me.
मैं ऐसा नहीं सोच रहा था कि भक्त लोग यहाँ पर आए और मेरे बारे में कुछ कहे।
My mind was, I accepted this because I was thinking it is good for devotees to come together.
तो ये प्रोग्राम इसलिए रखा गया क्योंकि मैं सोच रहा था कि भक्तों को यहाँ पर आने का अवसर मिलेगा
and celebrate
और उत्सव मनाने का अवसर मिलेगा।
our joy of Krishna consciousness.
जो कृष्ण भक्ति का आनंद है उसका आस्वादन करने का अवसर मिलेगा।
Hearing about pure devotees,
शुद्ध भक्तों के बारे में सुनकर,
from the scriptures,
शास्त्रों से सुनकर,
so we have been hearing about the qualities of sannyasi.
तो हमने एक सन्यासी के गुणों के बारे में सुना।
All the qualities which we mentioned, they are all Krishna's qualities.
जिन भी गुणों का वर्णन हुआ वो सभी कृष्ण के गुण हैं।
You may attribute it to one person, but actually it is Krishna's qualities. Like Krishna gave us some part of it.
तो ये हम किसी व्यक्ति के बारे में बता सकते हैं, परंतु ये कृष्ण के गुण हैं जो कृष्ण ने आंशिक मात्रा में हमें दिए हैं।
As a spirit soul, all of us will have Krishna's qualities.
जीव आत्मा होने के कारण हमारे अंदर कृष्ण के सभी गुण हैं।
Pure devotees, they have this from larger extent.
लेकिन जो शुद्ध भक्त होते हैं उनमें ये गुण अधिक मात्रा में मिल जाते हैं।
And when we speak about them, it is for our own purification.
और जब हम उनके बारे में बोलते हैं ये हमारे स्वयं के शुद्धिकरण के लिए होता है।
So to create a festival for us to come and speak and hear about pure devotee is our festival.
तो इसलिए ऐसा उत्सव रचना जिसमें कि हम शुद्ध भक्तों के बारे में बोलते हैं, सुनते हैं, यही हमारा उत्सव है।
It should be celebrated.
और इस उत्सव को मनाना चाहिए।
So we thank all of you for arranging for this.
तो इसलिए हम आप सभी को धन्यवाद देते हैं आपने इसकी व्यवस्था की।
And we are hearing about sannyas and the duty of a sannyas.
और हम सुन रहे हैं सन्यास के बारे में और सन्यासी के कर्तव्य के बारे में।
Narad Muni described this in the 7th canto Bhagavatam.
नारद मुनि ने 7वें स्कंद में श्रीमद् भागवतम में इसका वर्णन किया है।
He spoke about all the different ashrams.
उन्होंने अलग-अलग सभी आश्रमों का वर्णन किया।
Particularly chapter 13, he's talking about sannyasi.
18वें अध्याय में विशेषकर वो सन्यास के बारे में बोलते हैं।
So I will want to take one of them, one of the verses.
तो मैं एक श्लोक लूँगा वहाँ से।
And Prabhupada spoke about the duty and activities of a sannyasi.
जिसमें श्रील प्रभुपाद जी एक सन्यासी के कर्तव्य और कार्यों के बारे में बताते हैं।
Which also correspond to what we are trying to do as an offering to them.
और वही प्रस्तुतिकरण के रूप में हमारी भेंट के रूप में हम प्रभुपाद जी और आचार्य को प्रस्तुत करना चाहते हैं।
This is text 8 of chapter 13 of 7th canto.
तो ये 7वें स्कंद का 8वें अध्याय का 18वें अध्याय का 8वां श्लोक है।
Narada Muni said,
नारद मुनि कहते हैं,
Na shishan anubadnita grantam naiva vyased bahun na vyakyam upayunjita naramban arabet kwachit. A sannyasi must not present allurements of material benefits to gather many disciples, nor should he unnecessarily read many books or give discourses as a means of livelihood. He must never attempt to increase material opulences unnecessarily.
Maharaj, is this 7:18:8?
Text 8, chapter 13. 7:13:8.
Yeah, okay. 7वां स्कंद अध्याय 13 श्लोक संख्या 8। एक सन्यासी को भौतिक लाभ के लिए और बहुत ज़्यादा शिष्यों को एकत्रित करने के लिए किसी प्रकार का भौतिक प्रलोभन प्रस्तुत नहीं करना चाहिए, न ही उसे नाना प्रकार के व्यर्थ ग्रंथों को पढ़ना चाहिए और न ही उसे भगवत चर्चा करनी चाहिए अपने जीवन निर्वाह को करने के लिए। उसे अपने भौतिक ऐश्वर्य को बढ़ाने का व्यर्थ प्रयास नहीं करना चाहिए। Thank
you. I'm taking some part of the purport.
तो मैं इस तात्पर्य के कुछ अंशों को लूँगा।
In Krishna consciousness movement. Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay.
इस कृष्ण भावना भावित आंदोलन में
we'll welcome everyone who agrees at least to follow the movement's regulative principles. No illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, and no gambling.
इस कृष्ण भावना भावित आंदोलन में हम उन सभी का स्वागत करते हैं जो इन नियामक सिद्धांतों का पालन करना चाहते हैं। अवैध स्त्री पुरुष संबंध न रखना, किसी प्रकार का नशा न करना, मांस भक्षण न करना, जुआ न खेलना।
In the temples and monasteries, gatherings of unnecessary rejected lazy fellows should be strictly disallowed. The temples and monasteries should be used exclusively by devotees who are serious about spiritual advancement in Krishna consciousness.
मंदिरों और मठों में आलसी, बेकार और अनावश्यक लोगों को रखने की जरूरत नहीं है। न ही मंदिर और मठ केवल उन भक्तों के लिए है जो आध्यात्मिक जीवन में, कृष्ण भावना भावित जीवन में गंभीरता से आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं।
Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura explains the word Arambhan as meaning Matadi Vyaparan, which means attempt to construct temples and monasteries.
श्रील विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर ने आरंभान शब्द का अर्थ मठादि व्यापारान लगाया है, जिसका अर्थ है मंदिर तथा मठ बनाने के प्रयास।
The first business of the sannyasi is to preach Krishna consciousness. But if, by the grace of Krishna, facilities are available, then he may construct temples and monasteries to give shelter to the serious student of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, such temples and monasteries are not needed.
सन्यासी का प्रधान कार्य तो कृष्ण भावनामृत का प्रचार करना है, किंतु यदि भगवत कृपा से सुविधाएं उपलब्ध हो तो वह कृष्ण भावनामृत के प्रचार छात्रों को आश्रय देने के लिए मंदिरों तथा मठों का निर्माण करा सकता है। अन्यथा ऐसे मंदिरों तथा मठों की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है।
A sannyasi business is to preach Krishna consciousness.
तो एक सन्यासी का कर्तव्य है कि वो कृष्ण भक्ति का प्रचार करे।
If one preach sincerely,
अगर कोई ईमानदारी से प्रचार का कार्य करता है,
not as a business,
उसे एक व्यापार नहीं बनाता,
but sincere presentation of Krishna consciousness.
लेकिन सच्चाई के साथ कृष्ण भावनामृत की प्रस्तुतिकरण करता है,
It brings everything,
तो उससे सब कुछ प्राप्त हो जाता है,
both material and spiritual.
भौतिक भी प्राप्त हो जाता है, आध्यात्मिक भी प्राप्त हो जाता है।
This we have seen with our Goswamis.
ये हमने अपने गोस्वामियों के जीवन में देखा है।
They were not working in factories,
वो किसी उद्योग क्षेत्र में कार्य नहीं कर रहे थे,
but they preached Krishna consciousness purely.
लेकिन उन्होंने कृष्ण भक्ति का शुद्धता से प्रचार किया।
From the pure preaching,
और उनके शुद्ध प्रचार से
they had disciples,
उनके शिष्य बने,
and they have many beautiful, magnificent temples.
और उन्होंने बहुत ही सुंदर भव्य मंदिर बनाए
For the purpose of expanding the preaching.
ताकि वो प्रचार के कार्य का विस्तार हो सके।
Srila Prabhupada did the same.
श्रील प्रभुपाद जी ने भी वही किया।
Srila Bhakti Dhira Maharaj did the same.
श्रील भक्ति तीर्थ महाराज ने भी वही किया।
There's many temples in West Africa.
वेस्ट अफ्रीका में बहुत सारे मंदिर हैं,
Many farm communities in West Africa.
बहुत सारे फार्म कम्युनिटीज हैं,
As a result of preaching.
इस प्रचार के परिणाम के
And
स्वरूप।
because our system is based on parampara.
और चूंकि हमारी जो प्रणाली है वो परंपरा पर आधारित है,
And a duty of a disciple is to offer something wonderful to his spiritual master.
और एक शिष्य का कर्तव्य है कि वो कुछ अद्भुत प्रस्तुतिकरण करे अपने गुरु के प्रति।
From their blessings,
तो उनके आशीर्वाद से, कृपा से,
we're also offering a beautiful Vaiṣṇava community to Srila Bhakti Dhira Maharaj and all the Vaiṣṇavas.
तो हम भी एक बहुत ही सुंदर वैष्णव समाज को प्रस्तुत करना चाहते हैं भक्ति तीर्थ महाराज और सभी वैष्णवों की प्रसन्नता के लिए।
So we want to show it to you. Want to show you.
और वो हम आपको दिखाना चाहते हैं,
if you would like to see.
अगर आप देखना चाहते हो तो।
Okay. That Krishna consciousness works is a fact.
Radha Madhav, she's calling you.
Krishna consciousness works. Can you just listen and leave them, let them do their own? Just concentrate.
Yes, Maharaj.
Krishna consciousness works.
कृष्ण भावनामृत कार्य करता है,
Not just only empty philosophy. It works perfectly.
ये केवल एक शुष्क दर्शन नहीं है, ये कार्य करता है।
Like Vishnu Prabhu was speaking.
जैसे कि विष्णु प्रभु बोल रहे थे,
His Holiness Bhakti Dhira Maharaj said, ISKCON is a miracle society.
परम पूज्य भक्ति तीर्थ स्वामी महाराज ने कहा कि ये संस्था चमत्कारी है।
How miracle is it?
ये किस प्रकार चमत्कारी है?
We have to manifest it.
इसका हमें प्राकट्यकरण करना होगा।
By showing what kind of Krishna consciousness we have in the mind.
तो वो इससे होगा कि हमारे मन में किस प्रकार की कृष्ण भक्ति है।
Let it come out.
और उसे हमें बाहर निकालना है।
And people can identify it from different angles.
और फिर लोग उसे अलग-अलग दृष्टिकोण से देख सकते हैं।
So I want to show you our offering to our parampara.
तो हम जो हमारी भेंट है परंपरा को दिखाना चाहते हैं।
So that we can also be encouraged to see that Krishna consciousness works for everyone.
तो आप भी उससे प्रोत्साहित हो सकते हैं, ये समझ सकते हैं कि ये जो कृष्ण भावनामृत आंदोलन ये सबके लिए कार्य करता है।
Not only for some people, it works for everyone.
कुछ लोगों के लिए नहीं, सभी के लिए।
But we simply had to represent them purely.
लेकिन हमें उसे बड़ी शुद्धता से प्रस्तुत करना है।
Then a miracle will take place.
और उससे चमत्कार हो जाएगा।
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,